Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us over your lunch hour today for our webinar in sponsorship with EDR and NSBA. My name is Emily Matler. I'm West's Administrative Assistant. I'd like to give a big shout out to today's webinar sponsor, Peter Lucas Project Management. Our topic today is Brand Growth Secrets, presented by Hannah Wheeler. If you have any questions for her as we go through the presentation, please feel free to submit them in the Q&A box, not the regular chat box. However, do feel free to use that regular chat box to introduce yourself and tell us a little about you and your business. As always, this webinar is being recorded and will be available for on-demand viewing. You'll receive an email tomorrow around this time with a link to the recording. So with that, I'll pass it over to Hannah to begin the presentation now.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Emily, for having me. I'm so excited to be here. I'm excited to talk to you guys about some brand growth secrets. And so I'm just going to share my screen here for a second. All good. Sure you guys can see that there. So I'm Hannah Wheeler. I'm the co-founder of Zap Branding. I founded actually Zap in 2013. So I've been an entrepreneur for quite some time now. I've also worked in the industry as a graphic designer, art director, and strategist. I worked in agencies around Saskatoon. I have a degree from the Alberta University of the Arts in 2013. And so I've been working in Calgary. I've been working here. I work on brands, I guess locally, nationally, and then internationally as well. So I love brand. I kind of eat, sleep, and breathe brand. Even my personal life, it all revolves around brand. Brand is more than just your logo. And so we even talk about, my husband and I, who are the co-founders, we talk about brands. We both love it. So I'm excited to be here today. So I'm the founder. I also have my personal life. I have 2 kids. I've got a 10-month-old baby girl, Nora, and I've got a 5-year-old now. His name is Maverick. And so I'm an entrepreneur, but I'm also a mother. I'm married. My husband and I own the company. We also have a second company as well, that we have an e-commerce test company, so that we can help a lot of our e-commerce entrepreneurs kind of navigate marketing, navigate branding, and really help entrepreneurs in lots of ways, because we've also experienced those pains of e-commerce. So I'm going to get into here what we're all about at Zap is empowering brands to thrive. And so we believe that even our color gold, as in our brand, is we believe in golden connections. We believe in making your brand #1. So you want to go for gold. And we believe that you're not going to go into business saying, I'm going to be, 5th place. I'm good for, having a customer choose me 5th. We believe that it's important to be the company that people choose you first. And so that's where, for our brand and what we believe in, is empowering our companies that we work with and brands to thrive. So when you're a thriving brand, what does your life look like? Do you want to have an acreage? Do you want to have property across Canada? What is the life that you want to live? And a lot of entrepreneurs, they don't think about that life that they want to live. They're like, I'm just working hard. I'm doing my thing. But what is that life that you desire? And what is the life that your team, your staff, what life do they desire? And so it's good to know what everybody is looking for and what makes them thrive as a person, and what makes you thrive as a person. So that word thrive has been thrown around a lot, but it's really important to even think about, why am I doing what I'm doing? And what does the life look like, once that life is happening the way that I hope to happen? So for us, we've worked with a lot of brands. We've worked with we've done 30 branding projects since 2019. And so me and my team of experts, we work on strategy, brand identity, and we really dive into how a brand not only looks on the outside, but how does it, what's the DNA of it on the inside? And so we love to work with companies locally as well as nationally. So we've been doing this for a while. Before COVID, we used to do a lot of interactive like displays and branding experiences. So thinking about your brand is more than just that logo, it's about the experience as well. So we have lots of fun with a variety of different companies, different needs. So we're here for you guys. If you have any questions about your specific company, we've helped different kinds of businesses grow. So we're here to help. But there's lots of always challenges when you're working with your brand. Maybe you're in the social media realm, working on social media. Maybe you're, stuck in certain areas, or you want to know, how do I use my brand in bigger formats, or how do I use my brand just when I'm speaking, or when someone answers, or someone calls us, and how do we sound? So we're going to get into the brand as a whole and what makes a successful brand. So we're grateful to be working with 51 professionals that have taken our programs and 30 businesses that we've branded since 2019. So we believe in this time that my 10 years of doing brand work in agencies, doing brand work in our studio, as well as then training entrepreneurs on how to create and work with their brands, we've unlocked 3 core secrets. So I call them secrets because when you think of branding, everyone always says logo. When they think of, oh, my brand, my logo, the way that I look, that is who I am, and that's what makes me different, which is a part of the puzzle. But we believe that these core growth secrets are really going to help transform your business when you can understand them and use them. So the first one that I like to talk about is using the tree analogy. So everyone knows the different kinds of trees. Everyone knows that a tree comes from a seed. So just like a tree, your brand comes from a seed, and it's the DNA of your brand is like the seed. It's something that nobody sees yet. The DNA is the strategy involved. The next we're going to get into the second secret, which is where the seeds are planted, and then how do you nurture your seed of your brand? So we believe that everything in business can be related to nature. It flows, it grows, it adapts, it thrives. There's challenges, but nature overcomes them. Similar principles apply to your brand. So I love to think about these nature principles and get away from the aspect of hustling and grinding, because business owners, entrepreneurs, they're in the mindset of, I need to hustle, I need to grind through these 5 years of, say, the beginning of business in order to make it, or to then get to the next step. And some people have been hustling and grinding for 20 years. So we believe that there is an easier way to grow business that doesn't involve hustling and grinding, posting on social media every day in hopes that you can grow the business. So we're excited to help your business grow, and tips that we have here on this webinar that will really, really help you start to flow as a business instead of grind. So the first brand growth secret is clearly defining your brand DNA. So when we talk about brand DNA, it just means that everything that is enclosed inside of that seed of your brand, all the things that you don't see, having a tree, you don't know what that tree is going to look like inside, but all of that DNA is packed into, how big will that tree grow? What is that tree used for? Everything is all inside of this tiny little aspect. So it's important to revisit or, create for the first time your brand core, your brand seed that you're going to be using in the future. So it's funny because, like a tree, your business is built to be strong. It's withstanding challenges, it's adapting and continuing to grow. But in the beginning, when you first started your company, you had to nurture it because, thinking about wins, thinking about challenges, thinking about, COVID that came in, a lot of companies didn't survive the strength, they didn't have the strength yet. So withstanding challenges, you want to build your company strong. You want to create strong roots. You want to be making sure that if challenges come, you're easily able to adapt to those challenges. So each tree has a different seed with a different purpose. When you think of a pine tree has, the pine cone. It's a small pine cone. It's amazing that turns into such a large tree. The purpose is to block wind. So this tree has a purpose. It's everything in the DNA is enclosed inside of that tree. So you look at that pine cone, you don't think that it's going to be this wonderful, wonderful tree. Even your business, as an entrepreneur, you have an amazing vision. You have this vision for your company. You're thinking, yes, right now we're local, maybe, but we want to grow across Canada. We want to become global. You want to have this movement of your company really be amazing, and you can see it, even though it's not physical yet. So it's the same idea as that your vision of your company is like the seed. It's like what is inside of it, and that's where you're creating your company to become, is that pine tree, that wonderful tree. So one thing that I love to talk about is purpose. And so everything has a purpose. And so how do you make your area of the world a better place? So why does your company exist? This is, I find, the most packed and loaded question that I ask my clients. And a lot of times when we're thinking of marketing, we're thinking of branding, we want to hop right away to what does it look like on social media? What does it look like for my email headers? But a lot of the hard work happens in why do you exist? And how do you make your area of the world a better place? So there's a lot of companies out there, like there's 10 Tree, for example. You buy a piece of clothing and they plant 10 trees. Their purpose is to bring more forest to the world. And so there's lots of different purposes. Even Tom's, for example, started off with a man who went to a third world country, and he saw that there was a need for shoes. And a lot of kids are running around barefoot with sores on their feet, those sorts of things. And so he decided that he wanted to have his purpose of his company to have one shoe go to those children and one that you purchase. So there's those types of purposes. There's also purposes of just things that you want to accomplish. So for me, my purpose is to serve clients so that they can grow and thrive in their lives and in their businesses. So even what is that purpose for your company is something that I really would love for you guys to think about. And what would it look like if you're able to help a certain area of your world, your tiny space in the world? The next one is, what do you believe and what do you value? So as an entrepreneur, you have a set of beliefs, you have a set of values, and those values are going to attract the type of people that you hire. So when you hire like-minded team members, then you're able to be stronger, you can grow faster, you can ensure that everybody is on the same page. Yes, we all have different personalities, things like that, but we are all grounded on the same values. And so that is something that is very important to create, is your core values of your company. So creating these values, even just writing them in jot notes, are amazing because they really tell that story. It helps to identify you as similar people you want to attract. So this is in terms of even clients and customers. So if you have even five clients that are like-minded, that you work well together, it's like you're excited to come to work every day, you're excited to work with them every day. It's the like-minded side of things that really makes people want to connect. And so those core values set the tone for everyone going forward. The next part of your brand strategy and that brand seed is your vision, your mission, and your goals. So thinking about your vision, what do you want to become? Where do you want to go? What kind of a tree, what kind of a big tree are you going to become? Are you going to become a cherry blossom tree? Are you going to become a pine tree? What does it look like for you? What does that vision look like for you? So thinking about your company and where you want to go, and it could be something that you don't attain even in your lifetime, but it's something that as a vision, you see it even going and continuing after even you're gone. The mission is, how do you get there? How do you make steps towards that grand vision that'll get you there? And then these goals are these checkpoints of how you're going to get to that amazing vision. So you're going to have these checkpoints as your goals, and those we like to talk about as being markers. So you want to think about your weekly goals, you want to think about your monthly goals, your 3-month goals, your year goal, and the next is the 3-year goal. And so then that way, hey, when we're creating these goals, we're creating these goals on the 3-year kind of area. 3 years goes fast. I'm sure you have all been through the last 2 years and how that just flew by. So thinking about 3 years isn't far away. And so, what kinds of things do you want to happen in your company in the 3-year mark? And then, this year, what's your biggest goals? And then you really want to work down to, what am I doing today that's going to get me to my goals? Today, am I going to reach out to 5 new people and make 5 new connections? Is every day that you're going to be, as an entrepreneur, reaching out to 5 new people that are in that same kind of like-minded people? So is it maybe 5 different organizations? So thinking about, what are your goals today that you can do that will get you there, get you closer every day you do something. We are creatures of habit. And so we won't get to those goals unless we put them down. So putting them down, even just subconsciously, gets us closer. Your people. So who do you serve? When you have a business, you are serving. So you talk about customer service. Every company serves. It serves a need for somebody. You're always serving somebody. So think about, who are you serving, and who are your like-minded people? Thinking about the like-minded group of people is the way that they thrive off of one another, and the way that you can thrive as well in your day and be fulfilled as an entrepreneur is feeling like you're making a difference and making an impact. And so when our purpose is being fulfilled, we feel like we are on fire and we are just loving what we're doing. So thinking about that person in your mind, and unfortunately, it's not everyone. So when you think about this person, we want to think about primarily, if we could get more of this client or customer, who would they be? What would they look like? What would be their age demographic? What would be other, similar brands that they buy? We would be on the list as well. And then, other brands that aren't related to yours, but maybe they're skincare or a vehicle brand. But thinking about, what kind of how expensive are those brands? Is Sage something that they go to weekly or bi-weekly where they buy products? Is it, what kind of vehicle do they drive? And then that'll be similar to the product that you offer and the ability to afford what you're offering. So if you're a high ticket sale, it's going to be a challenge when you're speaking to someone who doesn't have the money to purchase that. Even though they want to, they have the desire to be with you and purchase what you have, they're not going to be your number one customer. So thinking about, who is this number one customer client that you would like to work with going forward. So this is an example of Jennifer. We like to talk about different things that she likes and what motivates her. So her demographics are, she's 55. She's her career as a massage therapist and owns a spa. She's family oriented, married, 2 kids, 3 grandchildren, located in Edmonton. Character is patient, open-minded, family oriented. Her goals right now are to find a new natural skincare product that doesn't irritate her sensitive skin and that she can use for herself and recommend to her clients in her spa. She likes brands like Rocky Mountain Soap Co., Sage, Ilia Beauty, Toyota is a vehicle she drives. She's on social media, but she also likes traditional media. So it's easy to track our social media impressions, things like that. But it's also important to say, how do you use traditional media? So if she is using traditional media, where is she? What is she doing in her day? And it's important to, if she is your main audience, how do you go and you meet a person like this? If this is who you want to be speaking to and really connecting with, on a personal side, getting to know this audience is impactful and huge, because you know exactly how to help them. So if she's looking for these, she's got sensitive skin, she's in this age demographic, a woman who's in her mid-30s is going to be having a totally different life experience. And she's going to be having, maybe she has kids in the mid-30s. Her challenges and needs are very different than this woman who's 55 with grandkids. Maybe she is going to be retiring soon or passing off her business. So it's a good thing to understand and get to know someone who's like this, so that you can really understand how to speak to them, and that'll really go through into your marketing after. So understanding those challenges and frustrations is key to being the only solution for them. So you don't want to have them even shopping around. You want them to feel like you are the only solution for them. But how do you feel like, how do they understand that you're the only solution? Is by understanding them and then using that messaging in your marketing. So this is, what do you do? How do you serve your clients? So thinking about what products and services do you offer, and how many do you offer? Is there one product that you would say is your number one seller that you want to or service, the number one thing that you want to promote, the number one thing that's going to be, if you get more of this product or service, you're going to be so excited. It's going to be like, it's going to make your day every time you make the sale. You get so excited. So thinking about not growing your company so I guess linearly. So when you think of linear, I think of Calgary, I think even Saskatoon, and how we're not really growing up, we're growing wide. And so when you grow wide, it takes so long to get from one side to the other. Thinking about your business as when you have so many products. I know as an entrepreneur, I'm guilty of this. I get so excited about products. I'm like, and I come with a new idea. I think probably every week I have a new kind of crazy idea I bring to my staff, and I'm like, I have this amazing idea that's going to really help our clients. We have to do this tomorrow. But it's important to have all these things written down. But it's so important to have the one product or service that is your main seller, the main thing you want to promote. Because if you're promoting everything, then people don't even know where to start with your company. They're confused before they even get started. And so, but people know you as, this specific product. It's so much easier to then get them introduced to the other things you have to offer. So instead of showing them everything, show them the one thing and speak to that audience mainly. We can get into other things like funnels, where funnels are specific to an audience, and you can have 20 different products that you're selling one product per funnel. And so you can have lots of offerings, but in order to do that, it's good to start with one. So once you've nailed down that product that you're going to be offering, the main product, maybe you've also productized your service. So it's something that becomes a product that can purchase on your site. You want to understand the personality behind your brand. So as your brand as a person, it's important to understand, who is this person as my brand? How do I define who my brand is? And personalities attract each other. So you say my personality will be, attracting a certain type of people, my friends, the people that I'm friends with, those types of things. Whereas, someone who is maybe more adventurous are going to attract more adventurous types of people in their life. So thinking about your personality is so huge, because it really goes into how you speak, how you look, in your everything that you are as a brand stems from the personality that you are. So thinking about your personality, we're on the tree metaphor, thinking about the cherry tree being beautiful, it's about renewal. The willow tree is wise and resilient. What is your company? Are you like a spruce tree? Are you adventurous and reliable? Do you eat trail mix? Is your company in that kind of feel? Is it shaggy like Amigo Pine, kind of silly and wild like Old Spice? So what kind of a brand are you similar to? So I love it's called the archetype wheel, and it's a personality, defining a personality. So we're going to go through these two. So you can only pick two, one or two, and you're going to choose. The first one is going to be mainly who you feel like you connect with. And so that could be it's a 70-30. So thinking about the first one is the sage. Google, BBC, and Oxford. This is also like the wise Yoda. It's about understanding. It's about, are you similar to the sage? The next one is the innocent. It's Aveeno and Dove. It's Sound of Music. It's referencing purity. So thinking about your business, what one or two are you? The outlaw is like Virgin, Harley Davidson, and Diesel. Also thinking about, it's like a revolution. A lot of ads that you see from these types of brands, they don't care what other people have to say. They know their people. They're going to speak directly to their people. And if you don't like it, if you're not into that, that's okay, because they're not speaking to you or I. So thinking about your brand and thinking about your beliefs and your values. Where do you stand in terms of these personalities? Next is the jester. This is like M&M's, Old Spice, Dollar Shave Club. The next is the hero. It's like Adidas, Nike, FedEx. Magician, Disney, Coca-Cola. The everyman, IKEA, Target. The caregiver, UNICEF, WWF, and Tom's. The creator is like Lego, Apple, Adobe. Explorer is like North Face, Jeep, Patagonia. The ruler, Mercedes-Benz, Boss. And the lover is Chanel, Godiva, Revlon. So thinking about your brand, where do you sit? And where would you want to be similar to in terms of brands? So I find that this is a really, I guess, a big step forward with your brand. And even when you have a brand, you've had, say, a logo brand for years, it's good to revisit and determine your brand strategy. So this is all the pieces that are inside of a brand strategy. But this is I would say, the biggest one for dictating the way that you sound and look. Because if your company, let's just say, before, I have a lot of companies saying that they're 5. And when you have, say, 5 of these archetypes, they are so confusing. They don't go together. So thinking about your brand as a whole, it just helps so much. The next one in the strategy is difference. So how are you different than others? A lot of companies, they will see everybody that their brands are red. Everybody's brands in my area, they're red. And so they're like, I just want to be red because I will fit and I will look professional in that group. We actually go in and we determine differentiation. We dig deep and we look at other companies. But when everybody is going red, I will go yellow or another color. So I will actually, when you have a company that is in the same type of business, but you are going opposite what everyone else is doing, it shakes things up and you look different. It's always important to be different. So thinking about your brand, do you kind of blend in with everybody else, looking great, looking professional, but do you blend in? If that's the case, then it's good to think about, what is my archetype? Who am I? And this will really help you determine, do I go even a different color? Color is all about psychology and the way that we think. So when you look at colors, think about colors and Google colors, even that have to do with your personality and what those colors mean, because it all is subliminal for your audience. And it's all kind of confirms who you are as a company. But I find differentiation is one of the hardest things. For me, when I'm working on a brand, I actually look at concept. So I think about the brand concept as a whole. and it always makes a difference. So for example, I was working on a company that was a mechanical company, but his company, he was very focused on the fact that he loves vintage 1920s, 1930s feel. And so we were getting into like, how do you bring a concept in that's going to make a difference and make you look different than the other mechanical companies? And so his brand is more about the Art Deco and the 20s and 30s feel, and bringing that kind of aesthetic into everything. There's always a line with being gimmicky and then using those as uniqueness, but looking to the past, looking at similarities or regions, demographics, they really help to tell a story. So telling a story with your brand, creating a concept, is how you can really pull that differentiation in. The next one is attracting your audience. What do you look like to attract your audience? So now that you've got this wonderful personality, you have your values, you have your purpose, your vision statement, you understand who your company is and where you're going, then it's understanding, what do you look like? How do you then take this strategy and then put that into a look and feel? So how do you, determine the colors? Is there patterns? Is there textures? What kind of font? Is it a, personality font? Is it a sans serif, like clean font? Do I feel professional, or do I feel kind of silly? What is the brand translating into the look? And so this is where there's a lot of great professionals. We do this as well. Branding, it then comes to life in the visuals. But the brand designers, they can't do what they need to do unless they know what that personality is. So the next step is then, bringing that, attracting your audience and understanding what they like to attract them in. It's also determining your messaging. So thinking about right now, what is one word that would sum up your brand? And so less is always more. And so a lot of times we want to tell everybody what we do. We want to get into a very detailed, description about what we do, but people don't have that long of an attention span. They want to understand what you do right away. And so this one word is great to integrate into all of your marketing. So thinking about, there was this dentist, and there was a dentist that he really wanted to get busier. He was a brand new dentist. And so what he did is he had someone come in and do massages on people's shoulders for like 5 minutes. And you'd have a couple massage therapists coming in and massaging people. The reason why is he wanted them to feel relaxed. And so his word that he really wanted to get across was, when people come to get their dental work done, they feel so relaxed. And so he started doing those massages, and his business exploded because people started to really catch on to this word. They'd say, "I'm so relaxed." It started coming out in his Google reviews. It started coming out on social media. People just said, "I feel so relaxed coming to see this dentist." And so from there, he now has massage chairs that you can sit in and get a massage as well. But that's overall the concept of being relaxed is something that he integrated throughout. So thinking about your business, is there one word that sums up your brand? And it's something that might take a bit of time, but it's something that you can also put in your email signature. You can be using this, repetition throughout your social media. And then soon to see people messaging and commenting, referring you and saying this word in how they speak about you. Does anyone have any questions so far? Feel free to drop them into the chat. The second brand growth secret is planting your brand in the right location, in the proper ground. So thinking about when you get a tree from the store, you go into Wilson's and you see, on the tag that it's, this much sun, you got to plant it in this ground, it's this kind of environment that it needs. It can be in shade, it has to be this kind of mixed soil. It's all these details. And so thinking about your brand as, where are you going to be located? And then in the proper kind of ground. So thinking about your environment, Your environment is everything. It's how you thrive, and it's how you thrive quickly. This is going to help you grow instantly if you have the right people that you're surrounded in. So networking groups or organizations like WASC, being a part of, say, that kind of a network of people, are going to thrive and grow your business in a certain way. And so thinking about your business, where is it best placed? Amongst what type of like-minded people. So thinking about, there's a lot of networking groups out there. There's a lot of even areas of the city to have your office. But when you want to have even an office, think about, who's around your office that could help your business grow. How are these people like-minded? Do we all believe in sustainability? If that's our core value of ours, then we want to be around other businesses that are sustainable. We want to be around other businesses that can help us grow, and we'll help them grow. So it becomes something that you think about, where am I going? What am I putting my energy into? And is it like-minded and similar to my business? Things that can stunt your growth as a brand. If you target everyone and you say, we work with people from, they're 18 all the way to 65. Our brand services all of these people, and we don't want to exclude anybody. So it's important to know that you are not excluding people when you are doing your marketing planning for specific audiences. But it's important to know, who are your people? Are your people, like I said, sustainable? Are your people, do they love to go hiking? Are they runners in the city? Who are your people? What do they value? And it's always good to have a similar value, because then you can speak to them so much better. So then if you're targeting, then say, a smaller group of people, focusing on one audience at a time, saying, Jennifer is 55, she has grandkids, she has a spa, she's an entrepreneur, she's having these challenges, she has all these different things happening for her in her life. Then you can speak to her as number one, and your brand look and feel will attract mainly her. So then, in order to attract her as your main client, what does your marketing look like? What does your brand look like? If you have, say, for example, 4 other targets, say there's another target of yours that is a male, maybe he's 40, he's in his career, all these different things about this man as a secondary audience, then you can then build marketing and sales tactics around speaking to this type of audience. So your main brand can be a little bit more professional and maybe a little bit more broad, but you want to still make sure you understand who you're mainly speaking to. So if it's speaking to women entrepreneurs, then your design won't be all pink and things like that, but it will understand, look a different way to attract the female demographic. So really understanding who you're targeting. And another one is, if you are everywhere. So if you spray, it's called spray and pray your marketing, you are targeting nobody. So if you're just, putting money into ads saying, we're going to target all these people on Facebook, you're like, wow, that number is fantastic. I'm targeting 100,000 people. Odds are, I'm going to bring in 10 clients. But you're actually wasting your marketing dollars by just, spraying and hoping that someone's going to come based on the marketing. So it's a lot more important to think of one product, one audience, one funnel at a time. So think about that, and then you can duplicate for more audiences down the road. But thinking about this one person, this one product or service, and then where are you going to then put that ad or post? Where are you spending your time, so that you're not exhausting yourself and hoping things work, and you actually have more of a framework of, I know this is going to bring me a return. The third brand growth secret is give your brand what it needs to grow. Create a brand nurture plan and routine and implement it. So the magic comes in when you implement. So a lot of times entrepreneurs, they're very ambitious. I'm sure you are very ambitious as well, thinking about, I'm going to be able to do this today, or this week I'll definitely be able to get this done in terms of marketing and sales. But thinking about in a realistic sense of what can I accomplish today? What can I accomplish this week? And then thinking about your planning. So social media, we can post on social media. I say every day our plan is to post on social media, but realistically, maybe it's 3 times a week, and then stories are every day. So then you think about what are you doing now that's going to really help your business grow versus having high expectations and those things don't end up getting done. It's hard to get into a routine, especially as an entrepreneur, because things come up. But having this routine is going to change everything. Even thinking about how you're going to be growing your company and learning more tactics as they change. What are you doing every day to learn? Me as an entrepreneur, I love to learn. So I'm always learning new things. I'm growing my mindset. So even having a positive mindset going into work, it's how I speak. Instead of saying, I have to get this email done, it's saying, oh, I have an email that I have on my list. Instead of saying, oh, I have to do this, because then it feels like a to-do list, and then you're not as empowered. And so mindset is what I do every day. Thinking about different types of routines we get into, then automatically our results start to change. So the first one is water, creating a consistent and attainable routine for marketing. So if you miss a watering, some leaves start to dry up. I have these tropicals behind me, and sometimes they're a challenge to keep happy. And so I'll miss waterings if I don't set my alarm. And I notice some of these leaves just start to get brown and dry. So thinking about when you're crafting up your relationship building, say you have 10 different places that you're getting your business and you're nurturing. If you stop, say, keeping in contact with someone, then all of a sudden that kind of dries up. And so thinking about keeping your marketing routine, watering it and continuously sending messages and realistically knowing how many people you can talk to a day. So I have a rule of my day. I reach out to 5 people every day. So either it's say 3 new people and 2 existing, contacts that I have that I want to keep nurturing. And so I use HubSpot to keep me all organized. And I have an amazing team as well that help me keep organized. But 5 people every day, just because it helps keep things going and it waters, the relationships need watering. So as an entrepreneur, scheduling that into your schedule is so important. The next thing is consistency. So consistency is easier said than done, especially when you have more than one person working on your marketing. So maybe it's the entrepreneur as you working on the marketing. Maybe there's a marketing coordinator or an executive assistant, or lots of people working on the marketing. Or maybe you have an external company who's doing a great job, but they're not working at your space, so they don't understand the connection or the brand vision. So consistency, those things change. And so say you have a certain way that someone's speaking here, and then you have another person is speaking kind of silly, and then you have professional, but yet it's sounding too stuffy. Maybe the design is, the color palette it's green, but those greens are not the same. So you start to see all of these things that start to, inconsistency starts to happen. So how do you bring everybody into the same page and to have consistency? We call it a brand guide. So we put together for clients a brand guide where you can go through and you have everybody on the same page. But it's more than just having a document for the rules of the brand that it usually gets lost. So we use Canva for our company and for our clients' companies. So Canva is awesome because you can actually have a spot where everything gets stored. You can actually show the marketing and how it'll look. You can collaborate. We can have other people coming on and putting their designs in there. And then you have one person who signs off on everything. So having one brand keeper to sign off is huge because then it's all consistent. and you know that things aren't going to be kind of off. So brand management and consistency happens at every touch point. So that includes your brand identity, your marketing of any kind. So your social media, your sales funnels, your customer service. So when someone calls your business and someone answers the phone, how do they greet the customer client? Are they like, hey there, how's it going? Or they say, hi, hello. Like, how does it sound to your customer? So thinking about those types of touch points. Your blogs, a lot of companies get blog writers overseas to write their blogs. So does it sound like your company? Email marketing, making the graphics look similar look and feel, using all of your graphic elements. Sales, so your sales team is different than the marketing team. So does the sales team have a similar feel? Do they use your graphics on their LinkedIn headers? So how is everybody connected and looking consistent? Print design, Google listings, Google posting, for Google My Business, and then your website. So how does all those touch points look consistent? The more consistency, the more recognition your brand will have. So what's one thing that can then stunt the growth of the brand? The thing is when you have customers and clients, say, making comments on your brand, maybe you said something or maybe you did something that some people didn't like, you would then, some clients we've seen will want to uproot the brand and start over or change it drastically. It's as if you're uprooting, you're planting a wonderful tree, and then you get a comment from somebody that's not your audience, let's just say, and then you decide to uproot it. You then transplant it and you start to grow, start to water it again. But in the process, you've lost a few leaves, it's gotten dry, it's stunted the growth. Then someone says something again and you uproot it again and you plant it again. So thinking about taking the comments from clients and customers, if they're in your audience, those are important to consider and to understand where people are coming from. If it's something that is a customer service issue, you want to change it and adjust it. But if it's someone says, I don't like the way your brand looks, but say they're totally outside of your audience, you're not going to change your logo or change your graphics to suit them when they're not your audience. So taking things with a grain of salt, if they are not in your audience, your main demographic. It's the main demographic that's the most important. So don't uproot your brand and replant it every time someone says they don't like something about your look or your sound of your brand, if that's who you are. So stay grounded. If you've developed your values and your core values and your beliefs, the best you can, stay grounded, stay rooted in those values, so that even if people try and change those things for you, that you're able to stay there, stay firm. Next one is light. So light your brand by getting your brand out there. So the biggest thing that we find is once people have a beautiful brand, they have amazing products, amazing services, they're like, why aren't people coming? We have this amazing thing to offer people. It's like the best skincare. It's local. It's amazing. Like there's nothing like it on the market. But that's because they don't realize that their brand is still in the dark. People don't know. So by being too afraid, maybe in doing something wrong, it's thinking about like, oh, I don't want to post on social media because it's maybe not quite right. So you kind of get maybe scared and don't want to post. So sometimes those types of things happen where you're not able to really thrive. And so getting your brand out there and realizing that even if someone saw your post, they're going to be bombarded by so much other content out there that having yourself top of mind is key. And so you're not posting too much by posting regularly as well. So thinking about how do you get your brand out there, and not assuming that people have already seen it, they already know, they just don't want to work with me. So thinking about yourself as they just don't know about me. So changing your mindset in that sense to help you kind of get out of the dark and into that light. As you go here, you're going to be working on your marketing. Always changes and grows. So it's never set. Things are always going to be changing. So continuing to prune the things that aren't working and refine the things that are working. So to determine, okay, we don't want to do this service or this product anymore. It's not serving our clients. It's not serving us. We're going to, cut that branch off, and we're no longer going to work with that type of, say, business, or maybe not going to work in that with that service or product. Don't be afraid to shelf it and prune it. When something is working, you don't want to just be like, wow, we're just going to set it and leave it because it'll do its thing. It's always refining. So say you have an amazing coaching business and you have a podcast, and say you have something that's, a topic that you just find is just, wow, I did so good. It's good to take that topic, but then how do you kind of adjust and reinvent? So not just using kind of copy paste when something's working, but how do you kind of adjust it and continue to keep people's interest? So to recap, to grow a thriving brand, the first is redefine or refine or create the brand seed DNA. So what is that brand seed? This is your strategy. This is your identity inside. What is that company going to become? So defining those things in a strategy is key. The second is determining where the seed is planted. So where are you going to be spending most of your time in around like audiences? The next one is creating a brand nurture plan and routine to promote growth. So how are you really going to create this routine? What does that look like? What's attainable so that you can continue to grow? So for us, if you're an entrepreneur and you're looking for ways to grow your business with ease, we have a free community. So we would love for you to join our free community. I have a QR code here, but you can also visit our site. There's access to our free community. It's on Mighty Networks. So it's a closed group of like-minded entrepreneurs. So feel free to join that. And then if this was helpful, we found this review platform. It is amazing. And we actually, if you review this webinar, we will plant a tree. It's called Review Forest. And they're actually planting a review forest for us. So there's every time a client or someone who's visited our webinars reviews it, we actually get a tree planted, and it'll show our forest in Madagascar. So if this was helpful, feel free to review us. And then if you want to talk to me, I'm on LinkedIn and I'm on Instagram. I can actually answer probably things faster on LinkedIn or Instagram. So if you have any questions, I'm offering for anyone on the webinar 30 minutes free consultation with me. So if you have any questions about your business and how I can help you grow, just send me a message. I'm here to help you. So have a wonderful day. I know April has to get going. So great just having everybody on here. Feel free to ask me any questions. We have a bit of time here before the end. I'll be here until 1 o'clock answering questions, so feel free if you have any questions. Thank you, Brenna, for coming. Tammy? Tammy says, how do you narrow brand if you can serve huge demographics? Okay, Tammy, so this probably means that you can serve multiple people, multiple demographics. The biggest one is then if you are able to do that, then your brand will be a little bit more, I guess, not as specific. So say you're not going to show your brand being more feminine tilted or masculine tilted. It'll be more generic or general. But then you want to still, out of your large demographic, who are your main audiences that you know that are making, say you have the most sales coming through. You feel like you are able to serve those people the best, and then you and your team just love it. Is there certain audiences that you find are really like that? So yeah, think about that. And so then from there, if you have lots, then I would say doing sales pages. So your brand will look a little bit more, say, general. and being professional for those specific audiences, but then you're going to do sales pages for more demographics that'll speak directly to each of them. Does that answer your question, Tammy? And feel free to book a call with me if you want to have a one-on-one 30-minute, and we can chat deeper about that as well. You can look up Zap Branding on Instagram and just put a message in there, and I can send you my meeting link. Any other questions for me? Branding is a big topic, so it's a lot of things to cover, but it's powerful. Have my tree review if you feel free. Any other questions for me at all? Emily?
All right. Thank you so much, Hannah, for the informative presentation, and thank you to everyone who joined us today. Just a reminder, you will be able to view this webinar on demand on our website by the end of the day today. Our next webinar is The Path to Entrepreneurship. Is There a Right Way? It's part of our Business Growth Luncheon series, and it's presented by Dr. Christine Beck of Waggle Mail, and that's next week on July 27th, or 2 weeks, I guess, on July 27th. So with that, I hope everyone has a great afternoon, and thanks again, Hannah.
Thanks so much for having me. Good afternoon.